Hello everybody, welcome to the Uncovered Spill channel. Before we get to the video, please take your time to subscribe to my channel and like the video. In this video, I am talking about the followers of the so-called Prophet BUSHIRI. Particularly, I am looking closer to the behavior of his South African followers who were supporting him during the couple of times he was arrested and appearing at court. I will be looking at what does it mean being brainwashed and comparing it to religious fundamentalism. Before we get there, let me tell you a little bit about Prophet BUSHIRI. Shepherd BUSHIRI was born in Malawi, a country that also happens to be the poorest country in the world. Research shows that Malawi suffers from a great deal of socio-economic issues, and as a result of that, Malawians end up emigrating to greener regions such as South Africa. Prophet BUSHIRI happens to be the richest man in Malawi, even though his exact net worth is unknown. But when you Google it, a number of sites estimate his fortune at $100 to $150 million. And if that is true, it makes him a very rich man in Malawi. Many people suggest that he has earned his fortune after founding his enlightened Christian gathering church, and that is where he has been allegedly scamming money out of his followers. He has not been just scamming them of money, but he has also claimed to have cured people of HIV and AIDS and made the blind see, pray for the people on wheelchair to walk. He has been accused of fraud and money laundering and accused of allegedly sexually abusing women in his church. Those who do not believe in his prophecies and miracles accuse him of exploiting his followers who are so desperate to improve their lives by selling them miracle oil and other merchandise. So according to New York Times, during a church service in March 2017, he allegedly promised his followers a 50% return on their investment in a month if they pledged 100,000 rands. He called it a commodity investment opportunity. Unfortunately, after 2 years, many of the people who invested the money with BUSHIRI had reportedly not received any return. It was eventually reported that those funds were not even invested in the gold minerals in Zambia, as the congregants were told. Instead, the funds were reportedly deposited directly into his church bank account. BUSHIRI and his wife were arrested in South Africa on charges of fraud and money laundering in February 2019. When he was appearing at the court, his followers were outside the court praising and praying and defending him, saying that he is an innocent creature of God and he was just being tested. They were crying, "I want my papa." And it was all kinds and ages of people. Even an old man was seen crying for his papa. This led to a heated criticism on social media, with people claiming that BUSHIRI had successfully brainwashed his followers and now they loved him more than God himself. They did not even care to think really about what was happening and really believed that their father was being tested and they needed to defend him. His followers were slammed off comparing his situation with the one of Jesus, Paul, and Peter, who were arrested for preaching the gospel. They were reminded that BUSHIRI was not being arrested for preaching the gospel, but for fraud and money laundering. Now, before I let you decide whether the followers were being brainwashed or they have something else, the Cambridge Dictionary defines brainwash as to make people believe only what you want them to believe by continually telling them that it is true and preventing any other information from reaching them. Also, brainwashing occurs when a person is physically incarcerated in order to believe something. On the other side, religious fundamentalism refers to a belief in total authority of a religious text or leaders, and mostly it is never good for an individual. This is because religious fundamentalism discourages any logical reasoning or scientific evidence that challenges the scripture that they are forced to believe. According to Psychology Today, Fundamentalist ideologies can be thought of as a mental parasite. A parasite does not usually kill its host, as it is dependent on it for survival. Instead, it feeds the host and changes their behavior in ways that benefit the existence of the parasite. When someone has been captured by the religious fundamentalism, their ability to think critically is reduced, and they end up believing what the parasite in their minds tells them. So what do you think about the Bushiri followers who were crying on the streets saying, "We are who we are because of Major One"?